Welcome to Liberal 12th Man Show. I am the Liberal 12th Man, and I am joined by JK and the Irishman, and we're going to fire up the Liverbird once again to kind of go cruising high above the sky and talk about what our Kaiser had to say in the presser, and also speak on some of the other subjects that might be on your mind. So if you can, please do give a warm hello to JK. How are you doing, JK?
All good, bro. Hope you too.
Yep. And to the Irishman, how are you doing?
Oh, he's speechless.
He is speechless.
Yep.
I can hear the birds chirping. I think that's in your background, but I don't know what's going on. Yeah. Well, we'll wait. We'll give a second for the Irishman to get his audio all sorted and taken care of. But all the same, yeah. Big up to Luca, big up to Hylor, Redbird, JB, big up. Silence is golden. It is golden for sure. Silence is certainly golden on some fronts, we're certain. But yeah, we yep, you're back. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Yeah, it went mute, so I'm gonna have to switch back to the headphones. So this is
I got you. Big up. Hope that you're well, Brian. You good?
Yeah, I'm doing very well. It's good to see so many people in chat.
Yeah, definitely. Big up to Philip, by the way. Philip and I were having it was funny. Philip and I were bumping into each other in different chat rooms on the socials yesterday. We were kind of going in on kind of going back and forth a little bit about our how can I put it, our this about my take and his take on Darwin Nunez. We're going back and forth a little bit, but you know what I'm saying? But it's all good because I enjoy a proper discussion and a proper debate and a proper everyone's welcome to their own privileged opinions. So it's always fun to kind of break up as to why that person might think the way they do and why you might think the way you do. So it's always all well and good. If anything, I support whatever he has to say. So pick up the Philip. As always, I'm glad that you're here with us today. And also, we wanted to get into this presser. Did you guys see the presser by chance? If not, okay, good. Brian, did you see the presser?
I saw the quotes.
The quotes, okay. So today, we had the press conference. Getting crazy because there's not going to be very many press conferences left with this individual coach. Big up the Redbird. I know exactly. I was watching TNT last night because I know TNT also covers football as well in Europe, but it also here in America it is the source for your NBA as well. So I unfortunately watched my 76ers get knocked out of playoffs last night by the New York Knicks. I had to watch TNT. But the reason why I'm bringing up TNT is because Jorgen was speaking on the sense of he really doesn't like what TNT and had to say and some of the things that they were kind of having their stance on. And it was something of a interesting take because I know I had a little pushback on a couple of different forums that I was fortunate to be on the panels for, and I was speaking on the subject about something that Jorgen's always been passionate about, and that is the players' welfare. And he was mentioning the fact about how he still doesn't think that the players' welfare is held in the best resolve. You know what I mean? So How do you feel about that, by the way, JK? And how do you feel about that about Brian too? I'll go to JK first, and then I'll ask Brian. Same.
About the welfare of the players. What
That's
you're
basically
only
what he
doing
was
it?
getting into. Yeah, like what he had to say about it, especially. Like, he was kind of going into it about like how he didn't, a lot of these early games and like, and talking about how like
Yeah.
he would love to be in that meeting, one day when they bring up how many times they're gonna like, stick Liverpool with the noonday kickoff.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the way we've been handled this season, especially, it's us against the 11 players on the pitch, plus any other VAR decisions, and these like early kickoffs. We seem to have a lot of them. A lot of our players go to South America for internationals, and so they end up coming back late and end up probably even missed a few. So it's upset our rhythm. And also with TNT, they've brought so much cringe into football. You see like adverts for games, like on Saturday they'll end up showing an advert for the game, and you got football players jumping up and down like a bunch of idiots, wearing sunglasses, say, "Oh, we're ready for the game on Saturday." I said, "Oh, you fuck." You know what I mean? You weren't ready for the game on Saturday, but you said it in the advert. So TNT for me are pure cringe. So I'm happy that Klopp actually said something about them. It's about time. Even they're commentating so biased, like we're in Europe, and they end up still supporting the other team. That's the level them TNT guys are on. They are pure anti-Liverpool. Pure anti-Liverpool.
Yeah, there's been a lot of pickup on the whole the streets have arrived, by the way. Big up to the streets of being in the house. Big up to Dara as well. I think I said everyone's name, but make sure Luca, Dara, Rasta Crab, Honesty.
Bless Luca.
Big up for sure. JB, like I said earlier. Philip, I said earlier too. Okay. Making sure. I know there's others in the chat as well right now. But yeah, there's been it's been a little bit of an uptick in some of the content I've been seeing about how some of these pundits that we're seeing on these stations, are they proper pundits, or or do you not see some of the agendas and some of the biases that that you somewhat should expect? But I mean, like, this the sheer fact that they're even trying to portray that there's some fair and balanced kind of approach towards journalism. And it's like, A, you're not a journalist. Chances are you didn't go to journalism school. So stop saying you're a journalist. Okay. I have just as much right to say I'm a doctor. Okay. And like, if anything,
that's my title.
Yeah, exactly. And if anything, some of these pundits seem to just, sometimes need to be called out. And finally, Klopp, or not finally, but this is one instance that Klopp certainly did. Irishman, what were your takes on it? And big up to Jimmy, by the way, too. Big up Jimmy. Go ahead.
Which pundits did he call out?
Basically, he called out the pundits on TNT.
Pundits? Yeah, but which pundits did he call out? I don't think he called out pundits, did he?
He did. He called out the pundits. He did. But he didn't say by name any particular pundit.
Okay. Because I thought his problem was with TNT.
He actually even said that he would actually become a TNT pundit himself.
Yeah, I think he was. I think his problem was with the schedule.
I know he was joking. I'm not thinking that he actually is going to become a pundit, by the way.
Just what I read was that he was having to go at. I haven't seen the whole thing, but he was having to go with TNT about the scheduling of the games. If he said other stuff after, I haven't seen that. But that's something. Look, this is what happens when someone is leaving a job. When someone is when they're on their last days, they stop being nice to the people they never really liked. They go around the office. They tell people what they really think. He's in that mood now. He's in that mode where it doesn't matter what he says. He's off into the sunshine. He won't be there in a couple of weeks. So he's really basically just telling people what he really thinks and what he's always thought, which is that these guys pretty much and also what you have to bear in mind is if they're rescheduling a game that would have been at 3 p.m. in the UK, then it would have been a a blackout game. You wouldn't have been able to
Right.
watch it on TV. So we will get moved, yeah. But the problem is, why are they always moved to 12:30? Why not move them to another day, 2:30 on a Sunday or a 5:30? That's
Right.
the real issue. The other, like everyone else, he seems he's just going. It's just like he's coming into the office on his last day and just walking around and telling everybody what he really thinks of them. He's just letting them all have it. He's having to go pretty much everything.
Yeah, yeah,
It's just like
yeah.
he's calling out
Right.
FIFA, he's calling out UEFA. He's
This is
calling
what he
it
was
all
talking
comes
about
back.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, I've said it from day one. What the main thing when this whole thing came out about him wanting to leave, this is I
Mm.
talked about that stuff in a bubble. That's what he's pissed off about. That's what he's most sick of. It's just all this shit.
Right. This
Games
is the
every
quote
two
too, by the
days.
way, Brian, in case
Yeah.
you wanted to hear it or see it. Luca put it up for us. Thank you, Luca, by the way.
But they paid so much football. They are paid so much for football. They should stop moaning the footballers. But yeah. That's cool. But yeah, he's right. He's having shots at everybody. He doesn't. He's gone. He's gone home. He won't be back next week. He's just going. He's settling scores. And fair play to him. He's saying all the things that all the other managers would love to be able to come out and say in their press conferences. But they have
Right. Yeah.
jobs. They have to. But he's like, hey, I've got the power. No one's going to sack me. I'm going to be gone in 5 minutes. So here's what I really think of you and your stupid TV channel and your stupid schedule and your stupid
Right.
Stupid
referees and
questions.
your
Yeah,
stupid
yeah.
VAR and your stupid
Right.
pundits and your stupid that. So yeah, stick it up your, you know what, I'm going. I'll be gone in a couple of months. I just think it's brilliant. You can see, apparently, like he was having the whole place was in stitches. He was having the best time of his life. He was having,
Oh
everyone said
yeah, he
best
was.
best press conference ever.
They
He's
were having
loving
fun
life
with it.
now. Yeah, he's loving life. You can tell everyone like, I never liked your sister. I'm gone. This stuff. He's just like he's telling everyone the truth. He's telling them
Yeah.
all the truth. And there's other managers there watching that today going, yes, Jurgen. Yes, exactly.
Telling the tea lady your
Exactly.
tea's horrible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, your sandwich is always sucked. Yeah,
After
Yeah.
9 years.
yeah. You still can't make a cup of tea after 9 years. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
Oh,
must
it's
get off
great
my
fun.
sandwich.
It's kind of like it feels like he's having. I don't know if anyone's ever seen. This is a very old movie. It's 1998, I think, was when it came out. But he's having his Bulworth moment, basically. Bulworth was like when
Baseball player,
no, Bulworth was like I forgot what his name was. I can't remember his name. It was Halle Berry was in it. I think of Warren Beatty, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh,
Anybody? I know I'm talking to
I
some
don't
of the
know.
old heads. I'm not trying to like out you. It doesn't necessarily mean that you saw it when it came out in the movie theaters.
Oh, it
It's
was
like
Bulworth. I thought that
Bulworth.
was a baseball movie. No, what
Yeah,
sport is it? A
Bulworth.
sports movie.
I think you're thinking of Bull Durham, but like, yeah,
Oh,
Bulworth.
I am thinking of Bull Durham. I am thinking of
Yeah.
Bull Durham. Yeah, that's with Costner.
Yeah, Bulworth was like basically Warren Beatty was a politician, and he kind of came out and just started. He had like I think he had like some like he was going to die or something, or I think he was going to die. So he was like, screw it, like I might as well just be honest with what I got to say. And he was coming out and he was just kind of like being very honest with his takes and being honest with the public. And everyone was kind of like, you're a politician though. What are you doing? Like, it's almost like your job to lie to us, And he was just like, and Halle Berry was there and they kind of like, he was like I think it's like campaign manager or something like that. It's an interesting movie. But anyway, this is why I brought it up, is because he's having this Bulworth moment in that he's able to be honest. He's just able to come out and say, you know what, look, I'm gone in a couple weeks. He's like, even though he did say he would be a pundit, if asked, possibly, I was all tongue in cheek, I believe. So like, he knows that basically he can say what he needs to say and get it off his chest. He doesn't have to worry about the fines. He doesn't have to worry about, some type of like, some kind of pushback against him when it comes to the next year's campaign. Something that I think we've seen this year. I mean, like we've all said some of the reasonings behind possibly some of the, referee judgments that we see against this coach or against this team is certainly possibly because of their kind of like, disdainment for this coach at times. I mean, maybe that's me going too far. Maybe that's even going into the conspiracy concept. But I mean, like, at times you kind of do see that. Big up to Marion, by the way. Big up to Marion. But you do kind of see that. JK, do you think that? Think that's out of the question? Oh, I think JK is on mute. No worries. Silence is golden, as we said earlier. But all the same, yeah, it's just one of those things. So
why are people talking about Pedri?
Okay, I'll bring it up, even though I don't know if it's necessarily even worth bringing up. Apparently,
if it's not a real story, don't bring it up. I just wonder.
Well, because it was this comment here. It was by caught offside, and I don't know if this guy Marsa via caught offside. I don't know if that guy is actually a credible source or not, but it was like saying something. Liverpool leading the race to sign Pedri. Arsenal are also interested in pursuing him. It's one of those cases where just like, yeah. Well, I mean, like one name I did hear that was out there that I'm kind of happy to hear about. I tweeted it on my own, my source or my X account was apparently we are looking at a couple of names out there for our right wing concerns, considering, despite the fact of hearing that Salah is going to be, is interested in staying, we still have a concern as to what and how we go about, bringing in a solidified right wing, like as something that a future for that side of the pitch, whether it's going to be Salah going staying for this upcoming year, or whether it's even him pursuing or him being a part of the right wing in additional years. We still need to figure out something for that right wing side. I personally put out there that I wouldn't mind seeing us put finding a putting a Dom out on the right. I think that would be a possible solution. I also have always M. Tarmizi can be my backup on this one. I put out there that I've been really, really high on bringing in Kubo from Real Sociedad. I think he's a very, very viable resource that we could utilize, considering that, I know people don't want to necessarily look at it from these angles, but I mean, let's keep it real, like as in having players from certain regions of the world certainly do enhance the team's appeal. So, but that's not the sole reason why I would say I would want to get Kubo on this team. But all the same, like it would be, the Asian market is an amazing market that hasn't really been tapped really sufficiently by a lot of the big leagues. And it is something that you could utilize on this team by having a player of Kubo's stance and prowess. So apparently in the, I'm going to pull up the actual quote, but apparently we are interested in pursuing him. He does have, obviously, since he is a Spanish league player, he does have a release deal, a release clause. So he is someone that apparently that we are looking at possibly pursuing, which is, I think, would be great. It says according to the Anfield sector, it is Liverpool have contacted Real Sociedad over a move for Kubo, and that's something I would love to see. There's some other names out there that also have been or being looked at as well. Kudus is being looked at since he does have a release deal. And Olise is also being reevaluated or possibly pursued as well as a possible option. Is that out of those options? Irishman. Are those options that you like or you think could be viable options, or are those options that they don't really tickle your fancy, and there's someone else out there that you would rather see us possibly pursue if we're going to look at bringing in a right wing or someone a right-sided forward, at least let's call it that.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I can go right back to the thing about the Asian players. Again, it's not that people. I don't think people don't want to look at it, or people don't. They're uncomfortable with it. But I think it's not a reason you buy a player. Like that's a reason Celtic bought a couple of players at a club at our level. If he comes with that, then that's a bonus. But everything else has to be right football wise. If they're not good enough, they don't get signed, regardless of whether they're the biggest selling, the biggest draw in Asia. And I think that's the reason why you've been saying or like you said there, that some clubs haven't exploited it. Some clubs have. Manchester United did it with Park Ji-sung, and Spurs have Son as well. But that's also the reason that there hasn't been that many top level Asian players or South Korean players, Japanese players, is because they don't produce players that are good enough of them to get signed and be big time. They don't play at that many clubs. There's a small, you can name kind of. So when one of those players does come up, and a team can bring them in, you better believe that Man United exploited the hell out of it. They did. They made sure. Celtic brought that they did it a couple of times with Nakamura and stuff, because they knew how to use it. But basically, at a club like us, that's basically just an added bonus that the player brings with him. I don't know enough about him as a player. I just know young talent. Always highly rated, all that stuff. I don't know really the Kudus. Not really. That's not really his position. I'm not really sure about the others, but we definitely need some. Yeah, there's absolutely no doubt whatsoever that I'd rather do it this year. Definitely do it this year. Bring in not like an out salary replacement, but I don't want to wait another year. Dom out there is fine, especially in a different system or something like that. And it'd make the fans, we need our DM when we need our central defenders and all that. But the fans like to see an attacking player as well coming. We're simple like that. We're basic like that. We also like to see, especially a really talented young player, an attacking winger and all that. That's good. Bring one of them in if you can. Go out and get them. I don't know, what are they talking about for this kid?
Well,
50, 60.
I know you guys got the privilege of doing your picks. I still got to do my picks for the slot transition, or I got to hit the slots basically, and do the players that I would like to see transition. Kubo was a name on my list, and Kubo has a release deal of 60 million actually, and that's euros, 60 million euros actually. So whatever that is equivalent to in actual pounds, I don't know off the top of my head. I know Brian's good with that kind of stuff.
About 50. It's about 50. It'd be a lot less than Kudus. It would be a lot less than Kudus would cost you. Who was the other name? Someone else they put up Kudus. He costs a lot more than that as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
He turned down a move to Man City last season, signed a new deal. So they'll be asking big money for him.
Right.
So I reckon,
aka Ensman TV.
Yeah, they're going to be looking at double. I'd say both of them players would probably cost you close to double what Kubo will cost you, I reckon.
Yeah.
Especially buying from
with the Prem tax.
Yeah.
And then there's also there's the mention of also that we are currently in the actual market for someone that you had on your list, actually, and that is Osima. Now, I know that's not for a right forward side position, acquisition. But I mean, all things considered, we probably would have to raise some type of funds for that kind of acquisition. But he is a name apparently that is being shopped or pushed around as well for it. And I know, and we're going to get into that, Daryl. I know he really loves himself some Coop Miners. Because I know Coop Miners is a name that's been out there, but it's just as quickly as Coop Miners' name was out there as well. The other name that's been actually put out there was Barella as well. He's
every
a name
year.
now that
every year.
Yeah.
Every year, yeah.
Every year.
The annual.
Every year.
Yeah.
Guys never leave an Inter. Guys never leave an Inter. Don't worry about it.
He is a name now, apparently, that now apparently they need to do some they need to do some mining of the books, apparently. And his name has been brought up as he has certainly interest in a lot of different for a lot of different teams in a lot of different leagues as well. So his name has been brought up as well. I think we all can say safely. I think we can all safely say that we'd rather see us get Barella than Coop Miners, for instance. But it's an interesting ordeal that we have, in that we have some players out there that all of a sudden, because we have a new coach coming into play, because apparently there has been rumors that FSG are going to give him some type of I wouldn't say him personally to go out and figure out what he wants personally, but they're going to give Edwards and Hughes some type of war chest to go out and get and secure a player or players plural. It's going to be an interesting summer, I think, that we have up ahead. I mean, I think we spoke on the fact of maybe Gomez, and this is not a story going away apparently, but Gomez has put it out there that he wants to, that he would be open to a move. I know that some of us have shot down the concept of VVD moving away from the club, and especially maybe even moving to a Bayern, for instance. But even Bayern Munich has been mentioned as possibly as someone of a pursuer of VVD. There's even been, who else has been now put into that same mix? Real Madrid has been now mentioned as a possible quarter of VVD's services. So it's an interesting time that we're moving into with a lot of these silly
season.
This summer season that's going to be coming around.
Yeah, for me, Virgil cannot leave. It's very important that he stays. Salah not as much as Virgil, I would say. Virgil for me this season, bar the last month, has been world class, sort of back to his best. So I don't want to, because for me, whoever partners him he's got a good partner. The other guy, they've got Virgil next to him. So for me, you need that. I would, unless Virgil wants to change the scene or whatever. But for me, you cannot let Virgil leave.
Okay. That's a priority. Is that a priority for you too, Irishman?
Parts will not leave. Yeah, definitely.
Would you say that's your top priority?
No, I don't. I don't know. You kind of threw that at me. Yeah. No, it's not something. Is it my top priority? No, I've got about 50 top priorities. There's a few of them. You flew through a few of them. The Barella thing. I go into a bookies tomorrow and put 50 quid on Barella never leaving Inter. That's how I feel about Barella. That's how every single season. That guy, he's when Tonali was in tears leaving AC Milan, Barella is like that about Inter. He does not want to leave Inter Milan. He might go to a Real Madrid late stage because Inter say to him, look, we're in a bit of trouble here. Like you say, we need 100 million, but they've just won the Scudetto and they're qualified for Champions League. They might be under that much pressure. But the other thing as well is about war chest. Be careful where you say that. That's a big trigger for some people. You want to be careful where you bring that one up.
Right.
People, yeah, that's a big trigger for certain people. That word.
I
It's a
get it.
dangerous word.
Yeah. No,
I get
there'll be money available. There's always money available. Every year there's money available. There's never not been money available. Sometimes we
But it
didn't
has to be for
spend
the
it,
right person, the right
but there'll
player. Yeah.
always be. There's always the money there. If we bring in money, we can spend. Like we know these rules are coming in. We can't go crazy. So
Mhm.
there's always been money, and people get wound up by this war chest. Oh, they're giving them a war chest. They want war chest, and they've been fighting about it for
Mhm.
years. And, they always say, "Give it 2 weeks now, we'll hear about the war chest." So it's, as far as I'm concerned, there's always a fund there for players. If we need them, we can go out and get them. So there'll be money there. We're not, but we'll work within what we have to work within. We're not going to be able to go out and get like 300, 400 million pounds worth of players in the summer. So, but we will do things. We'll make some moves. People will come and go. But yeah, Virgil is someone who doesn't need to go. He needs a 2-year extension probably to get that dusted. Trent, that'll be another one of the top priorities. Get his deal sorted. Um, find out what Mo wants. That'll be another top priority.
Mhm.
So everyone knows what the lay of the land is there. If he's going next summer, so we all know, that'll be
Mhm.
another top priority. And then you go on to the additions to the squad, which are equally as important. So he's got a lot of things to do. There's an awful lot of things
That
that he
Richard
can't
Hughes
just
needs
say.
that
Yeah,
Hughes needs to do. Yeah.
Hughes answer the in tray is full. Absolutely, the in tray is full for these guys. So they're going like that's what you need. Edwards backing up Hughes, making sure Hughes gets what he needs to be able to do his job. Hughes
Mhm.
giving Slot what he needs to be able to do his job, and it's because there's going to be a lot of hands to the pump first couple of months. A lot of new people coming in, as we know, as we all know, a lot of squad staff turnover, especially. So I expect, yeah, it's sort of what's your top priority. It's like you couldn't go. There's at least 5 things that are all as important as each other. So he's got a big job, and I hope they just the bit of patience, make a few missteps at the start or whatever it might be. But yeah, there's going to be a lot of changes this summer, more than we've seen in a very long time. The level of change this summer, people are going to be a bit, oh, what's going on? I think they might be.
Well, the one thing that we spoke on when we said when I was talking about the presser today is that in the presser we get who is available and who's not available. And one of the players that wasn't available or was not at least wasn't at training was Virgil van Dijk. We were just speaking on Virgil, and whether he's a priority or not a priority to you. But Virgil van Dijk is not currently or wasn't at training. Connor Bradley is, which is positive to see, certainly positive to see. And Diego was not available at training so far. Those are the names that he mentioned. Um, are you, for some of these players now, especially since it's become, we are not mathematically eliminated from this title. I'm not saying that we have a shot in the sense of that, hey, we're going to do this or do that. But, he went into it and said we're not mathematically eliminated. But he was being realistic in the sense of that top four is solidified now. We know that we do have Champions League coming to us next year. Pretty much even third place is pretty much solidified as well. But beyond that, knowing that these players are like Connor, like Diego, knowing that they are viable pieces, but not necessarily pieces that we've seen other pieces that are viable pieces come back too early, or maybe in some people's mindsets be utilized in moments that they didn't necessarily have to be utilized in. Is it maybe a better mindset to take on with some of these players into thinking, great, Connor's back, but I'm not interested in seeing him in this, especially not in this Tottenham matchup, but like possibly not even next week after that. Like as in, like I want to see him. Obviously, and I love the fact that he's in training. I love the fact that he's working back towards total fitness. But do you think that maybe we should bring out some of these other players or utilize some of these other players as getting the opportunities to do what they need to do? For instance, too, I don't know if everyone knew this or not, but Bobby Clark, I guess, is done for the season apparently too.
Yeah,
so, is it?
Can I just?
Go ahead.
No, sorry. Just to be sure, are you? I think what you're asking is, because we can't win anything and we can't lose anything, is there any points in having a Bradley, even though it's good to have him back? Is there any point in having him? Should we just bring in some, even the younger players? Is that what you're asking? Is that what you mean?
More so just sticking with what we obviously have a squad. We obviously have our squads pretty much set. But I mean, like for Connor to come back, obviously someone on this current roster that we were looking at going forward is going to have to obviously be moved to the to not being on the match day squad. So
who's he's knocking out though? Who's Bradley taking off?
Okay.
Who's he taking out?
I'm just saying that there's obviously.
No, I'm just trying to think who is he.
Well, I'm just saying. I don't. I would have to pull up the list. I'll pull it up for you if you want. But like, hold on 1 second. I'm just going to go off of what we went with like last game.
Yeah, I'm not for rushing him back. Yeah, I'm not rush. Like you said, like it's not like there's a title on the line. So,
like similar to what like there's people that like question when Trent came back from the knee injury for the I think it was for the FA Cup game, right? And ended up re-injuring himself. And it was one of those things where it's like, did he necessarily need to? I mean, Connor was playing well at the time. Was it almost necessary to bring Trent back? Could we maybe give him that extra week or extra 2 weeks or whatever it took to kind of like get him to reassured fitness, that kind of concept? That's all I'm asking. Let me bring up our last matchup. All right. So let's see. On the bench we had against, let's just say Everton, we had, well, Bobby Clark's not going to be there because Bobby Clark was on the bench for last week. But Kwanzaa, Endo, Elliott, Gomez, Simicast, Kelleher, Gravenberch, Bobby Clark, and Dance. So
either Clark or.
So Clark is now going to be off the list. But like hypothetically, if Diego was available, then that would be that Bobby Clark position on the bench at least. So of those names, like, he's going to have to take someone's place. He probably takes Dan's place then,
Dan's, yeah, either one of the boys, yeah. Either Clark or Dan's, yeah.
Right. So that's all I'm getting at. Is like, do we just kind of like stand pat with what we have rather than bringing in some of these players, like even possibly even like Diego? I mean, Diego was obviously a knee injury originally, and now he came back, and now he's kind of tweaked something, and now it's like, okay, he'd be certainly a viable player to come back, for this next 3 games, or next 2 games, because he's not going to be available for this upcoming matchup on Sunday. But I mean, like, do you just kind of say to some players, hey, maybe just like let's just like shut it down for it, like rather than and let's just go with what we have, considering that there's really not much room to move up or down in where we're at. Yeah. That's what I'm getting at. Irishman, do you have an opinion on that?
Yeah. No, I'd say, I don't think it's a huge kind of call like that. I know you say you don't want to re-injure someone just for the sake of dead rubber games, but I think also at the same time, Klopp being Klopp, he'll take probably every opportunity now he can between now and the end of the season to give a few minutes to a Dan's or someone like that, because like especially if say we win one more and you're getting to like the last game of the season. I don't mean starting these guys, but there'll be minutes on the pitch for these guys if we're 2 or 3-0 up in games, just to give these boys a taste of some Premier League football, 1 or 2 if they're fit and if they can come on. That's how I can see it panning out. But we're like you say, I think like if we win one more game, then the last game, yeah, look, he'll give kids. That's the kind of manager he is. He'll try and give a few kids a game. He'll give them a game at Anfield, maybe 10 minutes, something like that. But definitely not. There's no There's no need to bring anybody back, to rush anybody back into a situation like this. Definitely not. Not if they're not fit. So completely, give the main lads the games and just give the likes of Dan's 15, 20 minutes here. McConnell or whoever else he wants to promote for one of the last 2 games. Give them 5-10 minutes if the game is done, if the game is done. That's just the way it probably go. I don't know. I don't know. It's just these, like you say, we can't really go anywhere from where we are.
So real quick too, by the way, I'm being asked by Honesty when what about Bobby Clark? This was what was reported by Liverpool Echo. Teenage midfielder Bobby Clark has revealed an encouraging season at Liverpool has been brought to a premature end by injury. Clark, who became a first-team squad regular and featured in the League Cup final win over Chelsea in February, will sit out the remaining weeks of the campaign after suffering a back problem. That's what it was just for those that were asking about Bobby Clark. He has a back injury apparently, and it's going to be is a significant enough back problem. Trust me, Brian knows about me going through my little back problems. I feel for Bobby Clark immensely right now. Back problems can be debilitating, to say the least. But that's unfortunately the circumstances for. Okay, I understand, Frank. I understand. But all the same, that's the report from the Liverpool Echo. So then again, that's what is being reported, and unfortunately, Bobby Clark will have to be sitting out for the remainder of the season for us. And now, now we're still looking at a return from Diego. We're still looking at I don't know what's going on. Does anyone have an update as to what is actually the issue with Virgil and as to why he's been held out from training? Does anyone have an update on that?
No, I never heard nothing.
Just a knock.
It's just a knock. Okay. Yeah.
It was described as something small. It was described as not a. He hasn't gone to get a scan on something. He hasn't gone to get. It's just some kind of a knock. But if he's not in training, don't be surprised. Basically, don't be surprised because he doesn't really do little games out. He doesn't really pick up little injuries like that. So. It wouldn't be ideal, not ideal, but for him to not be in training, I suppose you'll probably see some photos tomorrow or something. Maybe just need a day off. Maybe just a little bit sore. Right, let's not risk it. Take a day off.
To take a day off from training, yeah. Okay. So that's the case right now. With the squad. Did you watch the Spurs matchup against Chelsea, by the way? Did anyone watch that game? And in the chat, did you guys watch the game against Chelsea Spurs?
No, we were doing our show, weren't we? That was on
I don't know if you watched it on replay or not. Yeah.
No.
I was going to ask, so there was a comment by Ange, basically. It kind of sent some of the guys give Thiago a few minutes. Okay. There's a quote from Ange talking about set pieces. So apparently, Spurs have an issue with set pieces, somewhat similar to our issue with set pieces as well. They conceded on set pieces in that matchup. And do you find that his comments basically were he doesn't care about set pieces? He basically said he doesn't care. He basically says, he took the flack, he took the flack of the game and everything else, but he was like, oh, and I get it. I appreciate it, Bernie. I appreciate those that were watching, that were watching our channel here. Thank you, Bernie. I appreciate that. But yeah, do you take issue if your coach says something like, I don't care about set pieces, or about how, do you take issue with that? Irishman, do you take issue with that?
Me personally, as a player, I would I don't know, every player is different, right? Humans are different. So as a player, I would look at that as going, we do have an issue. The manager is just going to say a bit of nonsense out in the press to deflect away from it and create a story about himself. I wouldn't read a lot into it. Again, if I was a footballer, I wouldn't really listen to anything the manager was out there, because I'm just going, well, he's out there playing the media game, whatever. All I'd care is what he was saying to me in the dressing room. If he's telling me in the dressing room that you need to get your shit together because your set piece defending is absolutely awful, I'm going to go out there in front of the cameras now and make a bit of a joke, say, we don't really care. But you need to buck up because we bloody do care. I'd imagine, hopefully it'd be something like that. If he came into the dressing room, guys, don't care about set pieces, lads. Don't care if you concede a load. I'd be a bit more worried then. But yeah, when they're out in front of the cameras and Ange has got a bit of a sense of humor on him, and he's one of those kind of people. So yeah, if I was a player, my manager, unless he was talking about me directly in front of the camera, I'd be just like, whatever, he's playing the game.
Yeah. Yeah, this is basically his quote, because he says he knows he should care about corners, but he doesn't. That's his exact quote.
Accent. Yeah, you have to imagine that in an Australian accent as well.
Yeah, you got to say it in an Australian accent. Yeah, and then maybe throw some shrimp on the Barbie right after you say it. Right?
Apologies to any Australian viewers there. Apologies.
I know. I got much love for my brethren down under, for sure. But yes, this was the quote he said. He said also what he said. He said he has no interest in Tottenham's Spurs' dreadful record at set pieces this season, and insists solving the problem is not a priority for him. I mean, we have an issue with set pieces as well. I know that some of us have called for it. Yeah. Some of us have called for Klopp to take some real, draw some real attention to it. But I seriously doubt that he's going to do the same as well.
It wasn't even set pieces, though. Sorry, it wasn't even set pieces, was it, though? Because do you remember in that Everton game we were talking about how they brought up that graphic that we lost every time a ball came into our box, Everton had the first touch. So it wasn't even just set, we were being dominated in our box, either, any kind of cross coming in. We were losing first headers.
Yeah.
Even it not just set that, you could see a problem from the real basics. A team was able to just put the ball in and they probably win it. That's really, really, that's as worrying as much as that set piece up. But that does creep in, and that becomes a bit of a rot. And it was like that when Klopp got here. Everyone probably remember how bad we were when Klopp got here at set pieces. A corner was basically almost a guaranteed goal for another team. It felt.
Oh yeah, during those Rodgers years. Oh my goodness.
And do you remember when it bled over?
That was just, it was painful. Like every time there was a corner or something like that, I was just like, you had to brace for impact, basically.
And do you remember it bled over because you remember the Watford game? The Klopp was in charge of, it was a 3-3 draw, and we were 3-1 up. And in the last 10 minutes or 5 minutes, they got 2 corners. Went up, corner, bang, goal, corner, bang, goal. 3.
Yeah. Yeah,
And he was
yeah,
just standing there on the touchline going, "What the hell is this?" And then
yeah,
he was just like on the phone, "Get me Virgil van Dijk. Get me a proper central defender right now."
yeah, yeah,
Because Sacco, I'm getting rid of this Sacco. I'm getting rid of all of these
yeah,
because it was like, this is pathetic. Like your man, they're just going up, bang, nothing, no defense from corners. So
yeah. Yeah,
you
certainly.
don't want to go back to that road where everyone gets it in your head that we're going to get people here.
Yeah, certainly. Um, yeah, so I know that that is something of a concern, but are you what do you think is going to be the mindset that we hold going into this, JK, into Sunday's matchup? What do you think is our mindset? Do you think that we can shake off this, these issues that we've been having with our confidence in front of goal, with the what Brian just spoke of, which is like being bullied and basically being out hustled to these to the ball on these set pieces. Do you think that we can?
Mhm.
Is that something that we can get back into form quickly against a Spurs team that has been embarrassed by that? I want to say embarrassed that had high hopes because they had a great record against Arsenal, especially at home. And all things considered, you know that game is the battle for London, or a battle for London in a sense.
Mhm.
It's a derby game, so the London derby game. So it's a very important one, and for them to lose, they were getting outplayed. They fought in the end to bring it back to 3-2, but they ended up eventually still losing, and then to go on and lose 2-0 to Chelsea, a team that a lot of teams, a lot of people have already counted out as having a poor season. Do you think
Two
that
derbies,
do
yeah.
you think they're down and out, or do you think that they have something to offer in this game against us?
Like last season, they always seem to turn up at Anfield.
Yeah.
It's like for some reason teams will be rubbish for weeks, end up playing Liverpool and step up.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sick of this. I'm sick of that.
Mm-hmm.
It's been happening too much. But I feel the players need to step up just for Klopp. Give him 9 points out of his last 3 games.
Mm-hmm.
I feel the way the last month's gone. Thank God April is over. Now it's May. I think
Right.
we've got to change our mindset in a way that we've got to win. We've got to go into the end of the season with winning games, not go end of the season we've lost more
Yeah.
games.
Yeah.
I think that's the main focus now. Also, maybe some players trying to impress because the game's going to be on TV anyway, just to impress the fans, for example. So at
Mm-hmm.
the end of the day, we can still win the league. So we've got to win all like 3 games. That's the
Yeah.
most important thing. Yeah, just
Yeah.
winning games again.
Yeah. Yeah. It would be nice to leave on a high, to say that to see us win these next three
Exactly. Yeah.
games would definitely be a good way of seeing it out, especially since we're not going to most likely see a parade for Jurgen. To say that he ended on 3 wins, or to say we ended on a winning note, would certainly be a promising little goodbye send off. How about for you, Brian? Do you have an opinion on that?
It was sort of what the motivation. Yeah, I think Klopp kind of said it. He did it well. He said he wants revenge, but he doesn't blame Spurs for what happened
Mhm.
because they just played the game. He does obviously, like, yeah, you don't blame them. Like, they didn't do anything. It was a referee thing. So he said, but he still sees it as kind of a revenge. So that's the way you can play it. I'm still a little bit reluctant now to back these
Mhm.
players, considering what's been happening. I think if this Klopp and Salah thing is blown over like everyone has been told to say it has, then maybe we might see a little bit of like, oh, okay, look, we're all a little bit angry. We weren't playing well, but yeah. now that the pressure is off, I expect to see a better performance because it doesn't really matter.
Mhm.
So I think maybe a better performance. It is Spurs. They will play attacking football. Like this guy says, he doesn't change his mind about stuff. He wants to play attacking football. So there'll be chances in this game. So it really no better opposition to go out there and say, let's put on a big show,
Mhm.
score some big goals against a good team. What you know, if you consider them a good team or not, but you know, a top 16. That's pretty much it. Yeah, a few wins, a couple of wins to say thanks very much, and off you go. But the air has been let out of this balloon already. You know, this is just kind of,
Yeah. Yeah.
this is,
Yeah.
it's what would you call it? It's a few crumbs at the end. It's nothing major, but don't go out and embarrass yourself. Show the fans you still care. Put on a good performance, and
That's all I'm asking
just score a
for.
few goals. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
score a
all
few
I'm really
goals.
asking for right there. So that you just said, I'm looking for just go out there and give the impression that you care. That's all. Like it means something, you know. Did you see that? Did you see and read, by the way, the apparent Antonio apparently gave his insights as to what the dust up was all about, basically,
Oh
of
right, no,
between.
no.
Oh no, yeah.
What was he
Apparently,
saying?
apparently Antonio gave like his like um his insight on the
Of course
Salah.
he did.
What's that? What'd you say?
Yeah, he loves talking. He does.
He loves
He's like
talking, man.
he's
He
like that guy. What's his
loves
name?
he loves
Yeah,
being some type of like he is
techno
definitely
thing.
warming up his vocals to be a pundit. He wants to be a pundit.
Exactly.
You know, he already sees the writing on the wall for his that his career is slowly but surely coming to an end, and he needs
Hmm.
to finally figure out a way
Yeah, to make Sunday.
to make some extra dough, basically. But
The
yes,
only
he
player I've ever seen limping onto a pitch, by the way, Antonio.
what is
The only
yeah.
player I've ever, the only player I've ever seen limping on. You know, you often see players limping off the pitch. I
Uh-huh.
actually saw him limping onto the pitch. That guy is
Oh,
like always freaking injured, always. Like the last, like, but he's played like he's nearly 35. I'm sorry, like, but that dude is going to have you know, some issues getting around when he's older. Because I saw him playing in a game, I think against Man City, and he got a knock in the first half, and he comes back out and he's literally hopping off
mm,
one leg back out onto the pitch, and then starts running. I mean, that
right.
guy's he's going to have issues later. Like he's going to need to build up his medical bill money. I tell you that, man. He's taking a battering.
Mhm.
There'll be no parade for Klopp.
Yeah.
He'll leave the team at last 2 weeks no
Uh,
bloody parade.
yeah. Your mic's a little muffled there. Um.
Sorry, no, I was just reading Frank's comment myself. I'm sorry about that.
Okay. Yeah. So this is what Antonio had to say. He says every time a Liverpool player is coming out, Klopp always gives him a big hug to say good luck and blah blah blah. Obviously, when Mo came up, he kind of walked a different direction, and he was kind of like doing his shin pads and stuff like that. Obviously, Klopp has put his hand out to him. He has his hand, and his hand was like kind of just there, kind of for a bit. Obviously, as Mo stopped doing what he was doing, he kind of just like slapped his hand as in like a high five type thing. Obviously, Klopp didn't like that, so he was like, "Do you want to sit back down?" Basically saying like, "Do you not want to go on?" And he says, "No one told me what Mo said back, but that's what the situation was." That's basically what he was saying was the situation. And Antonio, sometimes you just want to be like, "Would you just shut the heck up?" you know. But it is what it is. It is what it is. So yeah. So yeah. What do you guys have some insights on what you think what you're perceiving is going to be the score for this weekend, for Spurs this weekend
Score prediction.
for Sunday. Yeah, do you have a prediction as to what the score is going to be?
It looks like a kind of a 3-2. It has a very 3-2 kind of feel to it. Just two teams that, I know Spurs, they do need, but it just got one of those kind of open two teams attacking each other type of games where when the pressure is off, some of our players might loosen up a little bit. So I can see goals queue up the 0-0 now, but it really should have goals in it, especially if VBD is out and they play the kind of football they play and we go in, inverted in midfield. It'll just be two teams wide open for 90 minutes. So there really, really should be goals in it. So that kind of looking at it that way, especially if VBD is out, definitely 3-2.
3-2.
Well, we should beat
Okay.
them. Yeah, we should beat them. Yeah, I can see lots of goals in it, basically.
Okay. Bernadette's got it 3-1 to Liverpool. Jimmy's got it 3-1 to the Reds.
Jimmy. I know he's in earlier. I forgot to say hello to him. But how are you, Jimmy?
What is do you have a score? Do you have a score prediction, JK?
Yeah, I'm going for a 2-0. 2-0 or 3-1, one of them two.
Okay.
I always go for the clean sheet, Has to be. That's why for me 2-0. We've got to keep a clean sheet.
It'd be nice. It'd be nice. Yeah,
4
it'd be
goals,
nice.
clean sheet, 3 points.
Yeah. It'd be nice. It'd definitely be nice. I think there's going to be a lot. I think there's definitely going to be some scoring in this matchup, and I would like to predict a clean sheet, but it's very difficult to do so.
Virgil might not play.
Yeah.
That's the thing. We might see Kwanzaa and Kanate.
Yeah, exactly.
If Virgil's not fit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, show up, get the job done, without Virgil not there. I think sometimes when Virgil has not played, what happened this season was Virgil got sent off at Newcastle. Gomez stepped up at that time. I've noticed that when Virgil's not there, some defenders, like when Salah's not there, the players sort of step up, So maybe that's a game on Sunday for Kwanzaa and Kanate to step up, get a clean sheet.
Yeah. Looks like they're going to be about. Obviously, Udoge is out for the season, I believe. I think Timo Werner is done for the season too, I believe. And then the rest of those names, I think, are just Ben Davies. I think has been done for a while now too.
Well, that's the important one, you see, because Destiny Udogie is obviously their left back,
right?
And he got injured, and Ben Davies came back in for him a couple of weeks ago. So they're like, "Oh, it's going to be Ben Davies to the end of the season."
Yeah,
and Ben Davies then went and got injured. Right. So now they don't have Udogie, they know Ben Davies, they've no left-hand side of their defense. So that's why I reckon there should be plenty of goals in this game because they attack, but they're going to have to play they might end up playing like Emerson Royale. Like Sessegnon, he's been out all season. He's the other guy that could have played left wing back. They're going to let him doing something really weird. We should be able to get at them. It's just there for us. The game just screams goals.
Yeah, it does. It definitely set, especially at Anfield. By the way, too. If it, being at home, being from the last result that we just had, being the fact that there is a revenge factor in this game. I know that sometimes people don't look at it that way. I do, at least. I have revenge on my mind, at least. But But yeah, but to see Royale on the left side would be probably something that if a Mo Salah does get the start, do you think that real quick? Do you think Mo Salah starts? In the chat, please do tell me. Does Mo Salah start for you this week against Spurs? Does Mo Salah start for you this week against Spurs?
For me,
Oh. Go ahead, Irishman. Do you want to answer that one? I think there's some stuff going down in JK's place.
It's gonna be a hell of a it's a hell of a call, but I think what you do is you start him, and by starting him, you're telling everyone that this is put to bed. That was a one-off thing. It happened on the day. Everything is cool now. Salah's happy. Everyone's happy again. So
right.
I reckon, you start him, but also because we tried it without him, we tried it with him. I think at this stage we try him again. We start him again. But the way he's been doing things, the way people have been performing, I wouldn't be surprised to see anything. Diaz on the right again. But if he does bench Salah again, then it starts up a whole lot of noise. Like, and I was speaking earlier about him leaving and him not really caring for the drama anymore, and the fact that we can't really win the league or get knocked out of the Champions League. May as well just play the lad, put all the nonsense to bed, get him back out on the pitch, up against the non-existent left back area of Spurs, get in, score a few goals, make everyone happy again, and finish the season off like as best we can.
Mm-hmm. I don't know, JK. Let me see if JK's back.
Yep. For me, I think Salah should play because the guy needs to get some goals. If he's going to leave us as well, might as well leave with some goals. I don't know. I think seeing the way certain fans are saying, "Yep, let Salah leave at the end of the season" is a bit disrespectful after what he's given us.
How many goals is he on this year so far? Does anyone know how many goals he's on this year?
He's on.
In all comps. I meant in all comps. I know if Hylor's in the chat, I know he's normally good with those kind of stats. What is all comps? What is he on for all comps? I know he's on something like close to, I think it's like 17, I want to say, in the league or something, right?
Yeah, in the league around that. I think it's because he haven't really scored for a long time. We forgot,
Oh no, I haven't actually. He's
on 17 in the league.
17 in the league, okay.
Yeah.
So he needs 3 goals to hit the 20. So that should be his focus now, to hit the 20 mark,
Yeah. So, wait, say that again. Say again, JK.
Like, he needs 3 goals to hit the 20 mark for this season.
Right. No, I was wondering like how many goals he needs to hit the 30 goals all comp.
Oh, okay.
I reckon he's around 26-ish, I guess.
I thought it was like 2 or 3 goals he needed or something like that. I think it was 3 goals. And like I was just wondering because that's something that he's done that pretty consistently throughout his throughout the last 6-7 years now or something, whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So that's why I was just wondering, and I know that was something that was like mentioned. I think I was watching like ESPN FC or something like that. They had that statistic up where I was like, oh wow, I'm like, that's interesting. That is interesting. I wonder if I know that that's not the only thing that drives him, but it's certainly something that he's probably got in the back of his mind wanting to accomplish. And hitting 20 goals this season, like you said, JK, would be pretty big for him too. But I was just wondering if you guys so Irishman, you have him starting. You have him starting, and JK, you guys both have him starting, right?
Yeah, I'm having him starting. So in the Europa League, he's got 5 goals. Premier League 17, 1 in the League Cup and 1 in the FA Cup. So 24.
24. Oh, wow. Okay. It's got quite more than I thought.
And he's
Okay.
only got the league, so he's not getting 30 on pounds unless he scores 50
Yeah.
in the league. Or
Yeah.
unless he
That'd be
scores
tough.
13 in the league.
It'd be very tough for him to do so. Yeah.
Or not, no, sorry, yeah, whatever he needs. What did you say was? 24?
Yeah, 24.
24, he said. Yeah.
Yeah, so he did another 6 for each 30 on pounds. Yeah. Never know.
Yeah.
Tottenham might be in generous mood, get a hat-trick there.
Yeah. They might be. You never know.
A couple of penalties.
You know what? Here, I've got I'll bring it up for you guys. I do see it now. I was looking for it and I found it. So I'll bring this up. And here is what we have. So for Salah, I want to make sure this is big enough for you guys to all see. Okay, so for Salah, this is what we're looking at currently for his numbers. So he's got, as you said, 24 goals, 12 assists, currently in 41 games. Wow. Oh, that makes sense too as to why. But originally he had 30 goals last season, all comps, 31 goals the season before that, 31 goals the season before that. Then he dipped 23, 27, but 2017, 2018, wow, that is incredible. 44 goals, all comps. That's pretty incredible. But 2 goals and 0 assists in his last 8 games. 2 goals and 0 assists in his last 8 games.
Yeah. Hence why he got injured. That comes along.
Yeah.
But 36 in 41 games. 36 into 41 games involvement. So come on.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good.
Pretty good, you know what I mean?
Pretty good. Definitely.
That's why when you was talking about the players that could replace him or who we could sign, I'm just thinking when you look at the right wing position around the world, you know, it's not really great. So for me, Salah's still good enough to stay at Liverpool.
Oh yeah, by far. Yeah, easily. I think we've all.
But if you look at the left hand column on that is almost the most important one. 52 games, 48 games, 51
Yeah, that's
games,
what I was looking at too, Brian.
51 games.
Yep.
You cannot buy that. You can't train it, you can't teach it.
Yeah.
That kind of robust fitness level, that is almost unheard of in the game for someone like him that plays high intensity football, takes kicks, tackles, goes all over the world with the AFCON and all of that. To put up those kind of numbers every single year is phenomenal. Like that's the least games he's played is 48. So to replace that is going to be almost the most difficult thing. You can get a player. You're not going to get. Look, no one's saying you're going to get someone to come in and bang 44 in his first season. That was spectacular, right? 31 and 31, also off the charts. If you can get someone in with that kind of 23 type number, and 7 or 8 assists, okay, you'll be doing it. But you're not going to replace that kind of impact, obviously. But that kind of fitness, of that kind of reliability in a player who not only gives you that reliability, but when he's on the pitch, isn't just a DM or a centre half. He's actually a goal scorer, putting up those kind of numbers. That comes close to being. Don't ask me to replace that. Please don't ask me to go out and find another one of that, because you're talking about gold dust out there. So let's kind of see this coming and back it up with more than one. He's our Mo replacement type player. He's our right winger now, because in the modern game to get that kind of fitness record, it's phenomenal, really. Whatever he's doing, his lifestyle, man. That's what everybody should be doing. That's what they all.
No. He does. Yeah. He lives a very healthy lifestyle. He lives a very he's very measured with his fitness, very similar to a Milner, for instance. Like that concept of like the body is a temple type concept. So, yeah. I have one final topic that I was going to bring up because it was kind of interesting. Eric Seven. I was trying to get this question addressed by an actual Red Devil on a Red. It was a Red Devil channel. I know once I see that sometimes whenever my questions or whenever I post things in some of these forums that aren't Red friendly, I guess you could say, they tend to get overlooked. But Sancho recently had a good performance. He actually had one of the best performances in take-ons in a Champions League game. It was top 5. It was in the top 5 of all time of the number of successful take-ons in a game. It brought up speculation about how was it Eric Sevenhag the issue, or is Sancho an actual player to be reckoned with? And there was also a comment that Eric Sevenhag made that was very, very interesting, and I wanted to get your take on this. It's a very interesting take, and I'll read the quote too. After the 1-1 draw with Burnley, Eric Sevenhag came out and said he believes. I'll read it directly. I'll read the quote directly. He says, because I don't want to make it sound like it was me saying this, but this is quote Eric Sevenhag's quote. We are one of the most dynamic and entertaining teams in the league at this moment. We are creating loads of chances by playing good football. It was unnecessary to lose control. Is this guy possibly is he like just delusional, or is he on some spin factor like no one knows?
Well, he's right about one. He's right about one thing, they are one of the most entertaining teams in the league at the moment. They are. I mean, they've been a laugh a minute for the last 3 seasons. They're the gift that does not stop giving. So if you want to be entertained as a Liverpool fan, just watch them. They're hilarious. If that's what he means by entertaining, fine. I don't watch them. They create chances by playing good football. Okay, fine. I haven't seen any of that. I mean, yeah, they beat us. Okay, fair play. They beat us. But they are where they are for a reason. If his job is to make them entertaining and creating loads of chances and then lose control, then he's probably doing a fantastic job. I really don't know. He's got to say something, but that to me is the sound of a man who's probably going to get sacked in the summer.
Yeah, he does. He does. He really does. It's very interesting. I don't know where they go to next if he does get sacked. I know there's even talks about like Poch getting sacked for Chelsea. Apparently, Chelsea's interested in bringing in Conte again. But
I reckon Poch is pretty much a dead man walking at this stage. Yeah, I'd have money on that one. I'd definitely put money on that one. I think not being there next season. I think that's a strong bet.
Very interesting.
With or without the Conte thing. With or without the Conte thing. I don't know about that one. But I think definitely, yeah, Poch out there. I'd say that definitely he'd be gone.
But it's interesting, Brian, because like this is, I would say, arguably the most shallow of a pool of managers of bona fide, with a bona fide CV manager pool that's in a long time. A lot of those, storied, managers that you can fall back on, the big names that you can always fall back on are really, really, really not there. I mean, for this match, for this particular individual, for Seven Hogg, he needs to. He's got apparently Tuchel is possibly a candidate to possibly replace him at Manchester United. I just don't know. It's one of those things where I'm just like, is it better for him to have his Bulworth moment and just come out and rather than try to spin this crap, which would make you go, what are you talking about? Like, why not just come out and just be honest and be like, look, Rashford's never had my back or something. I don't know, or come out and be like, Sancho says something about my mama. I don't know. Like, do whatever you need to say. Do whatever you need to do. Like whatever it is that you need to do, just come out and be honest. Chances are you are not going to be the manager come next year. You might as well
I've seen the Dortmund game and I've seen Sancho play, and I was thinking, well, there is a player there, but so that's the grief between him and Ten Hag,
Yeah.
Hence why he had to leave. But the comments, that comment there, I think, I don't know. He needs to leave Man United. They haven't been really doing good, Well, we didn't beat them this season, but but for me,
that said more about us than it did about them, Jake.
Yeah, that's true, bro. So he needs to leave, I think.
Yeah.
Well, if you look at these guys,
right.
like the point you're making about the manager pool is spot on, because the one thing you can always trust clubs to do is panic, unless they're really, really well run. If they make a decision, like they lose a certain employee and then they lose another guy, they can find themselves in a position very quickly where they need to hire people real quickly. And then when you've got this situation where there's so few managers on the ground, Barcelona did a big one to get Xavi to stay. Bayern were trying to get Nagelsmann back. They've just been turned down by Ralf Rangnick.
Mm-hmm.
They've sacked Tuchel, basically, before the season's even over. And they now have no Tuchel, no Nagelsmann. And for some reason, they were trying to get back, haven't just sacked them. Rangnick was nailed on for the job. He's now turned it down. You've got like a situation where Manchester United, Bayern Munich, 2 or 3 other clubs, they're all looking at a table with 1 or 2 names on it, and they're all trying to scramble and grab one. If you haven't set up and done your research properly, some of these guys they're going to hire the wrong manager. They're going to make a panic decision, because, like you said, there's no obvious guy out there say, "Oh, right, we don't know what to do. Right, look, let's just bring in Ancelotti for 2 years, or bring in Mourinho for 2 years, or bring in whoever it is, like super successful Uber coach for 2 years, and then we'll bring in the next young guy." There's none of them out there. So Manchester United, I can almost guarantee you, will make a bad decision.
Right.
But that's where I think we need to be in early, and I have identified Arne Slot as the right coach for us. Because we would ended up in a position where every coach out there would have an offer from potentially PSG, Spurs, maybe, you never know. Aston Villa, if Emery gets offered a big job somewhere else. Emery's going to get offered a big job somewhere else, by the way. Because they won't get it. Some coach or some team will miss out on someone, and they'll go for him. So you could have jobs all over the place for young managers that can kind of have their pick. Like, hands up out there, a year ago, right? A year ago, hands up if you had heard of Arne Slot and Ruben Amorim.
Exactly.
Or knew anything anything much about them, because I didn't. Like, I knew that there was a guy called Arne Slot because I'd heard the name, and it's one of those names that when you hear it, you don't forget it. It's like, that's a funny name. So I knew there was a guy called Arne Slot. That was it. So had I heard of him? Yes, but literally to that extent. Did anybody know Pippo Inzaghi or Simone Inzaghi was going to do what he did at Inter. Thiago Motta, Ruben Amorim, these guys, nobody had really any knowledge of these people unless they were students of the game out watching Portugal.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's how new these guys are. And they're like Amorim is being linked to Bayern, being linked to Barcelona.
Oh, did you see that? Did you see what happened with that, by the way? Apparently, so I'll just say real quick because we're gonna land the plane, but apparently what happened was he apologized to the fans and to the fans for what he did by taking the plane and going and visiting
Yeah.
West Ham.
Yeah.
He came out and literally apologized for doing that. I think I wouldn't be surprised if you saw his agent possibly get sacked pretty soon too. But because he basically tried to pressure Liverpool into a move, and Liverpool called his bluff and said, "Do what you need to do, bro." You know, and from that, basically, the rest is written in essence.
Oh yeah,
But
he's sitting there in a hotel in London, waiting for Liverpool to ring him.
Yeah.
And West Ham are texting him, going, "Where are you?" Like he's sitting there, he thinks he's pressured the girl. He's like, "I'm gonna go meet that girl," and he's expecting this other girl to ring him up and go, "No, don't, no, come on, meet me." And he's sitting there having to fend off the West Ham girl, going, "Well, actually, I'm not really trying to meet you. I'm trying to meet this other girl, but she hasn't rung me. She hasn't texted me. Now I look like a total dickhead because I've overplayed my hand and I've lost." Because like you said, Liverpool called his bluff on that one.
Yeah.
If you wanna fly over and let everybody know you're flying over.
Have at it.
That's not how we do business.
Yeah.
And I think I agree with you 100% that I wouldn't be at all surprised to find out that he has a new agent pretty soon, or at least new representation.
Because he's not doing that without the agents.
That's fully.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's totally an agent play. They're thinking this is going to be really clever now. We're going to be really smart here and do this. And just Liverpool are like, come on, I've seen that one before. We're bigger than that. We're bigger than you. Go meet West Ham if you like. We'll talk to you. We'll ring you tomorrow if we need you. Call her. Yeah, come on, man. Don't try that stuff.
And then there's a reporter here. He says, according to Sky Sports News, he would like to stay at Brighton. This is Roberto De Zerbi says he wants to stay at the club and plans to speak to Brighton chairman Tony Bloom about his future. I think De Zerbi's kind of sees the writing on the wall of what we were just mentioning, despite the fact that other clubs are looking for possibly getting a new coach in lines, whether it's Bayern, whether it possibly might even be a Manchester United, or whether it might possibly be a Chelsea or someone along those lines. I think that De Zerbi's probably recognizing the fact that he's got a good thing going in Brighton, and he should just stick with that right now before deciding on higher.
100% agreed.
Yeah.
100%.
But yeah. So some big things for tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to do a preview show. We'll do a preview show for the Spurs matchup. Basically, it's going to be my ode to revenge, my V for vendetta. Basically, for tomorrow is going to be for this Spurs matchup.
Next level tactical analysis.
Yeah,
next level stuff.
Next level for sure, for sure. And then obviously Sunday is that big matchup. And then Monday we'll have a review show. And then Tuesday we've got a big show that I have planned. All I can say is if you've got a tux, if you're a gentleman out there, please do be sure to rent your tux. And if you are one of the ladies in our group here, be sure to pick out some appropriate evening attire. Nice little functional evening attire. So, It's going to be a big day, big day. It's basically dress to impress, like, dress to impress. You gotta remember how to tie a tie or tie a bow tie, whichever you need to do. Definitely, it's going to be a big day on Tuesday. So
No clip-ons.
no clip-ons for Tuesday. No clip-ons for Tuesday. So yeah, big up. What's that? Honesty saying? Did you know last time? Yeah, I got you. Yeah, probably so. Probably was. It might have been last time. I wasn't probably born the last time they won a trophy, but or at least well, they technically they won the Tiger Cup or something. What was that trophy they won? Do you remember? Do anyone remember that one? The Spurs.
They won the last time they won something in England. I think it was 1967. I think.
I wasn't born in '67. Yeah.
But they have won. Yeah, I think they might have won one of those Intertoto Cup things or something. Maybe in between that might be what your Audi Cup, something like that.
Audi, yeah, they won like the.
That was it. That was a friendly
Audi
competition
Cup,
in Germany. Yeah, no, but I think actually was
and it's like it's something with like it deals with something with the.
I think it's 67. I think it's like if you're talking about like a league or a cup in England. Oh, they won the League Cup in 08.
They won in 08.
I forgot about that. Yeah, I think, but before that, it was like back in the 60s. So yeah, they went like 40 years without.
Honestly, with the call. Honestly, saying, hey.
You forget about them.
Let's put some respect on the Spurs name.
What would it be?
We know. We got respect for Big Ange. You got respect for the Spurs. I don't know if I have respect for the Pigeon, but all the same.
Do you know who I like? No, before we go, do you know who I like? Because I have a thing, and don't take this wrongly, but I think like I love Argentinian center halves.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're brilliant.
Right.
Like I think a really good Argentinian center half is the best type because they can always play football, right? Because they're Argentinian, they're fine that way. Some of them are really good players, but they're absolutely rock hard. They are like steel. They are some of the toughest guys out there.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them take it way too far, but some of the best ones out there, if you can get one, like, and that guy Romero, that's at Spurs, he's like that, man. That guy, he's a
tough cookie for sure. Yeah.
He scored the other night. He's hit the post.
Yeah.
He is when he wants to be. He's a force in nature. But he can also just as easily get sent off.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a tough cookie, but he's also
he's off the
if
charts.
he's not playing, he's like what's his name? Hoiberg, right? He's like him in the sense of like he's a guy that he'll fight. He's gonna go out there, do some dark arts if necessary, but he's gonna fight. And if he's on your team, you appreciate him. But if he's not, then different story. You kind of like bond that guy.
He's brilliant. Yeah, we need more of that.
We do need more of that. I mean, like, to be honest, we do need a little bit more of that. Those players are important. I know a lot of us talk about bringing these techie players and bringing in all these players that are going to be about like, the precision and being about like, skills and everything else. Sometimes you need those players that kind of like, when there's a fight, when there's a tough tackle needing to be made, they'll make it, or you need someone to kind of like, give the little smack behind the back of the head type thing, they'll do it, you do need those kinds of players, but all the same, hey guys, remember to, like I said, to be sure to get those, be sure to go and get your Tux rentals if you need to for Tuesday, but also to join us tomorrow. I'll remind you again tomorrow, but tomorrow we're going to do a preview. And is there anything you want to say before we allow for all the people to go on to their final destinations if this is not the final one for them?
Yeah, just a disclaimer. do not go out and actually rent a tuxedo. And if you do go out and rent any clothes, do not send us any kind of bills or
No,
anything. This is purely
definitely.
entertainment, and do not
Excellent.
actually go out and rent an actual tuxedo.
There you
Please,
go. There you go.
please. We don't
This
have
is
tuxedo money.
figuratively
We do
speaking.
not have tux money. Yeah, we don't
Yes.
have tux money. Okay, so do not.
Oh my goodness. JK, do you have anything to say to the people before we allow them on to their final destinations, if this is not the final one for them?
No, just check us out tomorrow. Enjoy the game on Sunday.
Yeah. 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 Is it what is are they still, that game's still going on too? Maybe everyone could watch. Okay, it's in the second half. It's 1-1 the second half so far. So yeah, if you guys want to watch, see if Luton can stay up, or fight to stay up. We'll see. But all the same, we've got a fight coming on our hands come Sunday, and it's one that I hope that we end up doing amicably and show some real pride. I know I have pride in each and every one of you guys out there, and ladies as well. In that, we all go out there and do our best to represent the badge, represent the club, and represent each other. And I appreciate the fact that we are doing our best to maintain and take notice of our own health, and also those, and making the best efforts to help those loved ones in our lives in doing the same. Please do that. Please continue to subscribe, like, do all the extra bells and whistles that it takes with the channel to help it grow. I wish that you guys have a great day, and until tomorrow, as always, up the Reds, and peace.